let's go ahead and create a new email newsletter campaign. So in ACYMailing 6, I will click on the campaign and create a new campaign. If you had one existing there that you were working on, you'd be able to select it to edit it. I'm going to start from the template that we just made. And I'm going to give it a name. And we're going to edit the email. So one thing I did want to mention is when I first started using this, it was really frustrating to me. I had some areas that I wanted to delete and recreate. What you need to do is you need to click on this little delete, and then you need to click on it again before it actually deletes. So just to save you a little frustration. Now I always suggest creating your content on the front end of your website for search engine optimization purposes. Content is king, and you will want to be able to have as much relevant content available to the front end so that search engines can go ahead and spider through that information. Also, when you're preparing your email newsletter, it'll make it easier for you to add that content to send to your recipients. So here you'll see one of the contents I can choose is a Joomla article. So if I drag that on in there, I can then go ahead and choose by category or just by the name of the article, and you can choose the different information that you want to be added there. And so I'm going to go ahead and let's just go ahead and click on this one. And you'll see it'll go ahead and put in this sort of text that's a little bit cryptic for the end user, but will load. And you'll see when you send yourself a test, it'll load this information that you have written. Another quick tip is I'm going to go ahead and just use the text here. I'm going to go to the front end of our website, and I'm just going to go ahead and select all this information here, including the picture, and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to come on back. And I'm going to go ahead and paste, and you see it'll just paste it right in here. So that might be easier for you to do because it's a little bit more what you see is what you get right in the editor here. I click apply means save, and it'll give me an idea of what this is. It'll also make it easier for you to see how it's going to display on your devices when you have copied and pasted right in here. Go ahead and edit this back. And here I'm going to go ahead and just change the color to make it whatever I like, and then click apply. So here's some additional formatting tips and tricks. You of course can drag and drop over different column arrangements, and then you can go ahead and put your different information right in there. Here's an image, and it'll right away bring up my image manager from Joomla. But if the image that you want isn't there, you'll just go ahead and browse to it where your computer is, start upload, and then it will be available for you to select from right here. And once it's there, you go ahead and insert it. It will automatically resize it for you depending upon the device. And the separator is kind of nice. You drag it and drop it here where you want to separate some information from each other. And then again, we have that dynamic text that has some nice features to it. Of course, here you can just type whatever you would like. And let's add some dynamic text here. I'm going to say receiver information of this would be the Joomla user. I'm going to use the subscriber since this is going to go to my list, and they're not all going to be Joomla users. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose the first part of their name and insert it. And so now, because I'm there, it says Hi Mary, but it'll say whoever's name. And let's go ahead and add some more text here. And on this subscriber information, because I'm using ACYMailing 6, I also have some custom form fields. And so those might be, for instance, on another account, we have, last contributed. So you could say, you last contributed on such and such a date. And then we would be able to put in our field right there. When we're ready to go, we're just going to hit apply, which means save. And then we would be able to go ahead and save and continue. We would then choose our list that we have. You see these lists have 0 right now, so I'm just going to say that. We're going to pretend that there's some there. And then you would, well, it says 0 recipients. Let's just go to the send settings then, because this travels through a step-by-step procedure. So this would be who it's from, reply to name, and this is all filled from the configuration of ACYMailing. And if we want our email to be sent now, let's just go ahead and run a test. Always a good idea. When we run a test, I can send it to the default email, or I can click this or even add different email addresses. And let's go ahead and run a safe check. Always a good idea, because this will go ahead and give you any sort of tips and tricks for email deliverability. So let's take a look at it here. One sec. It says all links checked. Let's see what happens when we click on there. Oh, apparently I've got a link in there, which is just a placeholder for a link. So I want to go ahead and check where that is. And then our spam score of 80. Let's see what that is about. And the nice thing here too is it does give me down at the bottom a link to the tester email. So if you need to share this information with someone else, you're able to do it. So we can click on each of these to see what the problems may or may not be. Now, green check mark means we're good. So you can see I'm not fully authenticated. So here's a number of email DNS records that are not properly configured for me. So I need to go ahead and check with my provider, which is me, to go ahead and make sure that I have these all green check marks so that I can get a 10 out of 10. And that means I will be able to successfully send this email to all the recipients without there being issues of spam or other problems. So that's the long and short of it. Once I'm ready, I would go ahead, save and continue. And then I would go ahead and click send. Let's go ahead and, so we would send now and add to the queue. And then once the queue starts to run, it would begin to send the new email to all of our recipients, which there's 0 right now, so it's not going to go anywhere. And it would all be set up according to the configuration that's been set up for you or that you've done.